Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode. You join me at Foxer Fisheries. Come on, let's have it. Quite mild today, but it has been, as the thumbnail suggests, from frozen to flood. And the owner Neil, great guy, text him, he comes back to you. Really sensible prices as well. Look, for this day and age, you have a little scoot about on there. So what are we doing today? We are doing pleasure and course for a day ticket of £8. Let's have a look at the facilities quick. So he's opened this up this morning. I made a joke about his dog sitting in his driver's seat of his van, which he laughed, which I'm glad about. So here's some captures. That's obviously the specimen lake. That looks like the fish I had out of there a few years ago. Coffee machine, vending machine, all healthy stuff, I might add. That's what you want, isn't it? Keep you warm on these winter days especially. So obviously the rules here, but I'll pop a link in the description so you can, oh, ghost carp. No, it's not, don't be an idiot. Is it? Yeah, it's a ghost carp, isn't it? It's gotta be. Put your comments in, guys. Am I being thick there, or is that an actual ghost carp? So you might recognise that geezer on the right especially. Sorry to the one on the left, if you are famous, I don't recognise you. Anyway, so what do we have around here? I believe this is a toilet. No, it's locked, but this is a toilet and shower. So if you come on for a 24-hour sesh over on the big lake, you know you can have a nice shower and clean yourself up. So what happens when you get here? Before you start fishing, if you're on a day ticket like me, for the pleasure and traditional, you take one of these out, there's a little slip in there for you to keep, then put your money on here. Don't worry, I have paid. He's actually taken the money because he was here checking up on things. So, plan is, you can see I've got my bucket in my hand with my pellet mix. Come on James, sort your angles out mate. With my pellet mix and a little bit of ground bait. I've actually spent 10 minutes walking around both this lake, which is one, it's connected by a pipe, which is carp, bream, and a few small silvers, a few tench I believe as well. Then over the way there is the tench lake, which you might have seen me get £25 of winter tench. But certainly going to start off here. Maybe 2 videos out of this. I'll probably add this intro into both videos, so don't panic. If you're thinking, why are you walking on this lake when I've actually done the tench video, then you know why, because I'm going to split the day up in 2. So I've baited up a few likely spots. This, if you've seen the video from last year, is where you might have seen me sitting over here, casting to this reed line. But actually today, I'm going to fish the pellet feeder. Oh, some fizz in there, isn't there? Can we get that on camera? Probably not. Surprised I even see it with my dodgy eyesight. But no, we're going to fish the pellet feeder down here and see how we get on, because we're going to start here. I did, which you're probably going to call me crazy now for starting there, see some swirling down here. So I'll pop some bait just tight by these reeds here, some more over there as well. So if it is tricky, little top tip for you guys, if you come up to a venue and you're on your own, you're the king of the venue, right? And you've got the venue on your own, you know, bait a few spots up, especially this time of year. If the fish are held up somewhere, you need to find them. I feel like the fish will be moving. The reason why I've tried here first of all is I know this is the south facing bank. When that current bun up there comes over a bit more, if it came out, the fish would be drawn to this margin. And last time, that's where we had a couple of carp in the afternoon whilst the pleasure fishing was fishing so poor. Yep, that was definitely a carp moving out there. They're just shut up. So yeah, I think they're moving about. I think I need to shut up, get set up, and let's get some carpy action. Okay then guys, let's have a look at the tic-tac, shall we? The tactics of course. So, as mentioned, the pellet feeder. A bit like the method feeder if you've never used it. Great little way of fishing this in my opinion. It doesn't put too much bait out there. It acts like a method feeder. You can shorten this, you can lengthen this tail. And on the business end, you know, below that pellet feeder, we've got a 4-pound fluorocarbon, or 4.5-pound fluorocarbon hook length with a size 16 hook. Now, It's fairly muddy in here. As I mentioned before, this video is called Frozen to Flood, and I tell you why, because when I text Neil, and he was very open about things, he said, I should be open tomorrow. I was like, okay, because I just had this feeling a lot of lakes across the country and ponds have been frozen, haven't they? For, well, we're probably like, well, I'm seeing this in July. Like, how have they just been frozen? At time of recording this, they have been frozen for about a week. It is 10 degrees today, which is absolutely balmy. I walked around the lake where I was going to go, some small pond. Literally, the ice was that thick. I'll put that in there. I did break a bit. I shouldn't break ice up, in my opinion, but I did see on the edge, and it was like an inch. Have a look. Yeah, so I decided, although they might be thawed out, when you get a thaw, you know, it's going to affect the fishing anyway for a few days. And I thought with shallow ponds, like 2.5 foot, because I've lost so much water over the last couple of years, which is so sad to see, I thought, no, I'm not going to risk it. Them fish are probably going to be switched off. A bigger water like this, okay, not huge, it's probably going to have less of an impact. So anyway, back to the tactics. So we're going to fish a bunch of maggots like we did on last time, but I've also got a fresh can of corn just opened. Another tip for anyone, if you're someone who opens your cans before you set off, or even the night before and put them in the fridge, don't stop it. Open on them on the bank, unless there's a no tin rule. Don't use it out of the tin, put it in a pot, of course, and take your rubbish home. Because I look at sweet corn, in my opinion, as a ticking time bomb. What do I mean by that? The second you open that tin, and always use a tin, don't be someone who I used to be and use it out of the bag frozen. It's no good. It's just no good. And buy better quality. Go for Green Giant if you can afford it. Because at the end of the day, especially this time of year in the winter, fish are going to be finickier. It's going to be harder. That smells so good. I might just eat it myself. No, but there's a top tip. As soon as you open that tin, this is a ticking time bomb. It will degrade over the minutes, over the hours. You might think I'm being silly there, but some people might open a tin, put it in their spod mix, for example, and have it for 3 days. That corn's no good. Whenever I put in my big carp sessions, I buy the smallest tins possible, even if they cost me a bit more now, because I'll just make up the mix that I want to go out generally for that moment. But anyway, back to this session. Some of you guys might not be big carp people. So for the pellet feeder, primarily pellet. Now I've got a mix of stuff in here. I've also got crushed boilie that I use in my big carp spot mix. A couple of bits of boilie in there actually, and just an array of different liquids really. I think you can experiment a bit. I've got some smoke, I've got some smart liquid that I can drizzle over the top, and it has been soaked along with my special hemp oil, which I'll share with you one day if it continues to work. And on the hook, we're just basically going to start off with a big bunch of maggots and just see what happens. You know, as mentioned, I've baited a few spots, so if I don't get any action within half an hour here, I could be tempted just to move on to that spot. If the carp are all down that end, because there was some swirling going on, then you know, you need to be prepared to move around even on these small match lakes, in my opinion. Let's get some maggots on. Let's get this pellet feeder right tight against them reeds. Why am I not fishing deep? A, there's bream in here. B, with it being south facing, and although you can't notice, there's a southerly wind pushing in here, that little bit, even in my opinion, that little bit of wind, warmer wind, is going to slightly change what's going on with this edge of this water. Carp might just want to push up, but to be fair, I've touched the water and it's not half as cold as what I was expecting. So let's start off with a big bunch of red maggots and see what happens. that spot a good 15 minutes. Okay, I'll give that spot over there a good 15 minutes and not a knock. I've only ever fished this lake once anyway, so I haven't explored it, but come down to where the swirling was over this side. Oh. Wow, that was quick. Wow, literally just put it out. And it's deep here. Perhaps that's where the carp want to be. Well, didn't take long. I think we know where we're going to be fishing now. So it's always good to explore areas, especially this time of year, even in commercial waters. Wow, I can't believe how quick that was. I surprised myself. Tell you what, I love my big carp fishing now, but there's nothing quite like getting on a water like this any time of year. The light gear, give you the run around. And this fish is only about £1 probably, but I don't know, big carp fishing, although good, although it gives you that sense of big achievement, there's something about this type of fishing, edge of your seat, light tackle, run around the reeds, never gets old for me. Beautiful two-tone little mirror. I just can't believe how quick that was. Literally, wow, on it. What a little cracker. What a rig. Come on, mate, you're on TV. Look at that, little two-tone stunner. Been through the walls a bit, this one, I think, but usually a slightly better condition, and I'm sure we'll see some. The wriggliest carp I think I've ever had. But look at that. 2 seconds in, change of spot, deep little area. My target of £20 is probably £1.5 there. Let's see what else is in store. Cheers, buddy. All right, let's get this absolute future monster back, get the stuff over, and see if we can get something a little bit bigger. Get in. Missed that one. Lovely. Great, so fish number 2 did slow down a little. Then I changed over to 3 maggots instead of a bunch. And it weren't long till this little common come along. Probably give myself £2 for that one. So what, £3.5 towards our £20 target. Covered in leeches, which is typical for this time of year. What a cracking little common that is. Well guys, one thing I should know at the grand old age of 37 is never to move when you've got carp on the go in the winter, and that is proof in the pudding. So I moved after them first 2 fish, hence why this video is not very long. because some dude was catching in the main area and my swim had slowed up, but moved and then moved on to the traditional lake to see if I could get any tench, which is a silly idea when the water's this freezing cold. And although not the biggest carp in the world, just look at that, imagine that in a few years time. Had to come back on my old swim, had bite after bite, kicked myself that I didn't bloody stay on it because, well, who knows. But anyway, let's look at the positives. This little stunner, after a couple of missed bites, fell to the net. Let's have a look at the other side. The other side on this one's just as incredible. Like I say, no means the biggest carp in the world. Certainly nowhere near the biggest carp I've caught this year, without sounding big-headed. But I must say, that scale pattern, the shape, for me, it's not far off the best looking carp of the year. Well, I say the year, we're now in January. Good looking carp for the start of 2026. Let's get her back, let's get home and look towards the next session.